Hello and welcome back to another video. This is Tom Clancy's The Division 2, and I'm kind of doing, although it says first impressions, this is more of a second impressions because today is Sunday. I started playing the open beta demo thing on Saturday, and I'm not sure what happened on the Saturday. Maybe it was this complete server overhaul or something just went wrong, but my wife and I like to play these sorts of games together because I kind of feel we complement each other's play styles quite a lot. I'm reckless and running in going and I hope to kill things with near enough getting myself killed in the process, and my wife is very cold and calculated like every other woman on this planet. Yes, I'm looking at all of you. So yeah, she's kind of supporting me, and by supporting me I mean she's an absolute crutch and I lean on her a lot because you know that's what wives are there for. I kid, don't lynch me. Yeah, so during the Saturday of playing this, my wife and I were met with copious connection issues and lag and other things. Weirdly, we could play independently of each other, doing our own thing, playing solo, absolutely fine, not an issue. But the moment we joined in, it was just rubber banding, lag spikes, frame drops, disconnections, the lot, the full 9 yards were there. In terms of gameplay during that time period of where my wife and I were playing together over the Saturday, I would have completely stated this is one of the worst games I'd ever played, just because the connection was just that messed up. However, we thought we'd give it a little bit of a break, and we came back to it on the Sunday, and as you can see, I have my waifu for lifeu tagging along with me, making sure I don't do anything stupid. So as it stands, as of Sunday the 3rd of March, the connection seems to be holding. I did do a little bit of googling, and it does seem to be that a lot of people are having sporadic connection issues. I would put this against the game, but when you do log into the game, it does openly state that this is a beta version of the game and support may not be able to deal with everyone's needs during this time period. So unlike Anthem stating it was a full product, good to go, ready to be shipped, these Ubisoft have completely stated this is a demo. It may not function properly, there will be bugs, lag, connection issues, the lot. They've openly stated this, so kudos to them for doing so. Right, now on to a little bit of, I suppose you could say, a review, just sort of like I said, a first impressions sort of thing, or second impressions. We're on second impressions. Hello and welcome back to my video on The Division 2. This is my second impressions. Oh, forget it. Right, so apart from connectivity issues on occasion, which has only happened to me during that one time period, the game connective wise seems to be absolutely fine. Graphically it's pretty good. Obviously with more linear single player story based games, these will obviously be better in terms of graphical clarity. However, this game is absolutely huge. The map is large, and I do mean large, and there is a lot for you to do. You can upgrade settlements, upgrade your character, your equipment, there's crafting, there's looting, there's near enough like raids, free roam, free to play, missions, side quests, just general looter quests. There's absolutely loads. So for it being not the absolute pinnacle in graphical design and giving you what is essentially an absolute metric ton in content, however, saying that, the graphics aren't bad at all. Like your character seems a little bit smooth, like there's not sort of like wrinkles or like creases or anything on your sort of character, and certain items of your character do clip through each other, and I'm still trying to figure out how they phase weapons in and out of each other, but you know, they're like really nitpicky small details that you can forgive for this sort of game because the content is just that great. As for the actual gameplay and controls, it is pretty much 90% solid. There are a few things that absolutely irritate me to my core, such as this: you can jump up or climb on or over objects. You can see it there. I have a control prompt that basically says you can climb this or climb over this. This isn't for a lot of objects that you are able to take cover behind. It's not an issue, but there have been many a time where I am literally unable to step up a frigging curb without pressing control, which is, for me, bizarre. It's a curb, like a toddler could walk up that. Why can't I walk up that? Why have I got to have a specific button to walk up a frigging curb? It's almost like they went overboard. It's a really good idea, it's a really good mechanic, and I like it. You can cover behind something or climb over it. I like it. But it's like they sort of went overboard with it, and it's just sort of like, you just dial it back a little bit. You know, it doesn't need to be that picky, but still. I have also noticed that with some of the areas where you're able to take cover, you'll press to get in cover, and then somehow the cover forces you out of cover. But you're like, I'm getting shot at, so you press to get back into cover. You just end up in this weird jack-in-the-box motion, going in and out of cover, because you're pressing to go into cover, but the game's like, no, don't want to be shot at, get out, and it just sort of throws you out. And you're like, no, I want to be in cover. So you go back in. Yeah, it's really weird. I've only noticed it like twice in certain areas. It seems to be on one specific mission, where you have to pick up your SHD gear prospect thing from a laboratory. There is a box in there, and yeah, no matter what you do, it just kicks you off of it. I had it, my wife had this issue. It's interesting. Because of it, we actually failed that mission on the first run, because we got both thrown out of the cover and then blown up and sniped and other things, and we were like, okay, that's weird, probably just a bug. Game reloaded, went back in, and the exact same thing happened again. So it does seem to be a more isolated incident, but it's something I feel possibly worthy of note, simply because if this isn't just in that one localized area and there are other things dotted around that will do this to you, that could potentially lead to a lot of people getting very angry. Onto the menu system. Now, I have 2 points for this, one of which I'm not too bothered about, but my wife has asked me to bring it up. She's not the most dexterous gamer ever. She likes things to be quite linear, you know, click this happens, click that happens. Everything sort of needs to be like in a one single condensed space. So with the menus, she feels they're overly cluttered. So with the menus and inventory, just general taskings of your character administration, trying to figure things out within game, skill trees, perk trees, all of that, she finds it all very, very convoluted and frustrating to actually figure out what does what, which I can kind of see. However, my argument to this, because I actually don't mind the menu design overall, simply because there is a lot, and I do mean there is a lot in this game. So each individual sort of subsection of things has its own menu. So I actually don't mind there being so many menus, and just learning how to navigate through them all is, for me at least, part of the gaming experience. The problem I particularly have with the menu is you'll open up your inventory and you'll click on your weapon. Nothing happens. So you click on your weapon again. Nothing happens. You either need to double click rather rapidly, like you're opening up a program in Windows 7, because you know that was fun, or click on it and then press space to actually open up your weapon menu. It's like, that I find really obnoxious. I've clicked on the weapon, just let me open up the weapon menu. I've clicked on my backpack menu, let me just open up my backpack. I don't want to just have to double click or click and then press spacebar to enter it. That's, for me, really, really irritating. And the next one for me as well is hold button to do X task. Opening doors, hold F. Demolishing an item, hold X. Fixing an item to something, hold F again. It's like, just how about just go, are you sure? Yes. That way I can click and then just spam the spacebar for OK or whatever until I have gone through the are you sure menus. Just let me do it. If I want to open a door, I don't want to be sat there holding F. I just want to press F and move on. Especially for a game that can be quite fast paced, particularly because there's like a million enemies surrounding you. Typically with this sort of game you want to slow it down, take your time, take pot shots when you can, and just generally hound the enemy from as best a distance as you can manage while trying not to screw up your aim. But this game can be fast paced, and having to like move from one area to another and then go, hang on, I need to like hold F to open this door. It's just, honestly, I don't know if it's just me, but it honestly just breaks me. It's kind of soul destroying, it ruins the immersion, and it just, for me, it really does just sort of overall just, I find it obnoxious, tedious, and just boring. I don't want to hold a button to do something that I am intentionally doing. Just let me press it and we can all move on with our lives. If there is an option to remove that in the settings, then just I'll take this entire section back and say, you know, big heartfelt sorry. But it's something that has honestly frustrated me through every game that has ever done this. You can't just press. You've got to hold it for some stupid reason. It's not as bad as it is in Anthem. If you've ever watched my Anthem video, in Anthem it is hideous. The moment everything you do in that game is hold this button, and honestly it's soul destroying. I would rather look an ashtray clean than spend the next 10 minutes holding 3 keys down just to get one thing done. It's horrible. Now, in terms of gameplay, it's actually really fun and addictive. It's enough of a challenge for it to be task worthy. Like you've actually got to pay a bit of attention. You can't just like mong it like you can in Warframe or anything like that, or like if you're OP as hell in Monster Hunter and just nuking things at a lower level. You've actually sort of got to pay a bit of attention and push towards an objective with decent team cohesion and communication between your players, particularly if you're playing in a group, or just at least have some semi-decent trust in the person's own ability to hold their own. Everyone is completely capable of playing in their own styles, whether they want to be close range with shotguns or long range with sniper rifles, medium range with assault rifles, spamming automatic rifles or semi-auto. I do prefer the semi-autos in this game because I do find the recoil with a lot of the weapons to be very difficult to predict, control and make use of. So if you are struggling with that and you're thinking it's kind of a game breaking thing, seriously, just try semi-automatic rifles. They are really, really handy, and as soon as you can, get yourself a perk for the foregrip, and that will sort out a lot of your recoil / accuracy issues you're having. So at least that's my take on it. Now, like I said, with the gameplay, there's not really too many issues. I mean, for me as a personal thing, just because I like having them, I kind of wouldn't really mind having more direct indication on the map. I find the map kind of difficult to understand at times. I mean, not just with enemies, it would just be there'll be items or icons on the map, or the mini map up in the top right, that is, and it's incredibly difficult to locate what this item or icon is and where it is. There have been so many times where my wife and I have been running around in a very small circle just to try and find out what this icon could possibly mean, and half the time it's nothing. I don't know if that's intended or something that's just missing because it's the open beta, but a lot of the time when we find something on the map and we're like, oh, what's that? We'll go have a look. We get to the area and like we'll be sat directly on top of it and there is literally nothing there. So I don't know whether that's a feature intended or just a slight bug in the current beta. I don't know. But for most of it, the icons do mean something and they do show quite well. Maybe not what they are, but when you get there, you'll generally get a prompt on your actual screen to show what it is or where it is or etc, etc. But a lot of the time it's just sort of missing, which is annoying. It's like either going to show me or you're not. Come on, pick one. Now the gameplay in general is actually really quite forceful, if I can call it that. The idea of the game is, in general gameplay mechanics, is to stay behind cover and take your shots at enemies when you can, when they're reloading, traversing from cover to cover, generally being stupid and just running towards you and you've got a shotgun. Just generally speaking, the game is quite tactical, if anything, in that sense. So it is kind of odd for me per se that with this style of game, because it's kind of a looter shooter, it is in effect it is a looter shooter, it's weird that it forces you to play in this circumstance, which I find weird. It's like there's no diversity, there's no way to sort of like tank yourself out and just be like, it's alright guys, I'm gonna get all the attention, and you take it and tank it and your friends and allies pick them off as best they can before you die. There's very little scope to do that sort of thing, and even if you did, it's not going to be anywhere near as helpful as if you just stuck behind cover and played the way the game is near enough forcing you to do at all times. Now I do understand that is kind of the point of the game and the idea behind it. It just, for me, it feels kind of weird that there's no sort of real classing system. Now I do understand that later on you do get like the survivalist and the sharpshooter and the demolisher sort of, I don't know what they're called, I've not made it that far, sort of, they're almost like classes, but I would have thought there'd be like a tank class or a juggernaut, maybe like a armor-clad behemoth, one of those like bomb suits you see in a Call of Duty or something, something similar to that where you can be a bit more tanky. I don't know, it just kind of feels like a open-ended prospect that they haven't quite explored fully or given the due diligence to give the game such a feature. I don't think opening the game and when you create a character it should go, oh, what class do you wish to pick? I do think there should be sort of like perk skill trees where you can develop that sort of character. I think that would be quite an interesting way to go. They've kind of done half of it there. Once you get to a certain point, you do get to sort of pick your end game perk, like I said, the survivalist, demolisher, or I think it's marksman, not sharpshooter. And you basically, this will give you like a fourth weapon. It'll either be like a massive 50 caliber anti-material rifle, a crossbow with explosive bolts, or a grenade launcher, I believe. So they've kind of gone halfway there, but how about just giving me like, I don't know, some form of shield with a rapid fire, I don't know, Glock 18. They're pretty beastly pistols, and you can hide behind this massive shield. The enemies have the full capacity and capability to do this. And yeah, you can get a perk for a shield, but how about actually having it as an active part of my character's progression, as it were. Now, as always, I'm always doing a little bit of griping and moaning and maybe suggesting things that are completely unorthodox and out of the question for the game style that it is, but as always with every game, and gamer particularly, you never really have that perfect game. For me, Monster Hunter World is about as close as I have gotten to it from a RPG side of things. For a looter shooter, I will not deny that the Division 2 is certainly about as damn close as I have ever gotten. I absolutely am loving this game, and I really do like the fact that a lot of larger publishers are now doing these open beta weekends. This is really good for two reasons, because people like myself and probably more established channels can do these sorts of videos on them, say what they like, dislike, and you can make up your own mind about it as you would with anything else, really, your own person. But it's a good way for a lot of people to get interest in the game. Oh, I don't know, the Division, do I want to try it, do I not, I don't know if I'll like it or not. Oh, it's free this weekend, so maybe download it and give it a crack. You know what, that's a good idea. So people do it. It generates interest in the game, as well as if you are interested, 9 times out of 10 you will probably pre-order it. I totally haven't pre-ordered the Division 2. Although, to be fair, I only did it because it gives you another free game as well, and I've been desperate to try Far Cry Primal as well. And I also have Ghost Recon Wildlands, and my wife does not, so she's got Ghost Recon Wildlands, and we're going to be trying those out together as well. So that could be fun. Now, honestly, despite my grumbling and suggestions of, oh, they could have done that better and I don't like this is actually a really good game. It's absolutely brilliant. It's got a good balance of loot. The scaling of the enemies, as well as the way in which your character is able to progress, is really, really well done. It does leave a lot of the perks open system to you, so you can kind of build how you want to go, whether you want to just buy or perk out some more med packs or armor packs or whatever they're called, or you can get some grips and fancy optics and other things for your weapons. It really does sort of leave open your progression system so that you can actually near enough level up how you wish to level up. Now, I can't say whether there are enough character levels in the game to allow you to have near enough every perk that the game has to offer you. It does seem that it will be close, but possibly not. There is a good diversity of weapons, ranging from semi-automatic assault rifles to automatic assault rifles, sniper rifles, submachine guns, pistols, revolvers, automatic pistols, literally anything sort of modern day military tactical weaponry you can think of is near enough in this game. I mean, my wife at one point was even using a friggin' hunting rifle from the 1960s, for crying out loud. That was entertaining to watch because it pretty much outdamaged everything else on the gap. It was broken, absolutely broken. But honestly, I'm really, really enjoying this game, and a testament as to how enjoyable this game is. My wife is more of a Sims 4, RimWorld, Banished, sort of like a city builder sort of player. They're the sort of games that she really likes. She does obviously play Monster Hunter as well, but that's basically like the most extreme into the action-packed games as she tends to go. And she's liked this game so much she's forced me to buy it for her. So yeah, cheers Ubisoft, dickheads. Anyway, that is me. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoy this. If you did, give it a like, maybe subscribe. It is free. But until then, have fun, good luck, and don't die. It's bad for the health.